This is the city, Los Angeles. The year is 2019. The buildings are a lot higher. All the decent folk live hundreds of stories up. No one in their right mind wants to be on the street. But you gotta be rich or a cop to own one of the flying cars. With most animals extinct, constant acid rain, and 106 million people, well, let's just say things haven't exactly gotten any better. The film being made is Blade Runner, a futuristic detective thriller starring Harrison Ford. Ford plays Rick Deckard, Blade Runner, a detective whose specialty is replicants, manufactured people no one else can tell from the real thing. When they go wrong, it's his job to stop them. It's not an easy job to like, but if you're a Blade Runner and you're good, they'll never let you quit.
Deckard has been with the police department before. Turns out that he's about to be pressed back into service in his old job, which involves the hunting and tracking of people. In this case, the people are not people, but replicants, flesh culture replicants, a kind of lab-grown result of gene splicing and growing human cells in a laboratory atmosphere. The eventual product would be something that looked just like a human being, and in the vision of this film could be supplied with a memory and a belief in their own reality.
They were designed to copy human beings in every way except their emotions. And the designers reckoned that after a few years, they might develop their own emotional responses. Hate, love, fear, anger, envy. So they built in a fail-safe device.
Which is what?
4-year lifespan.
You have 4 years to live, is basically, that's the total lifespan of a replicant. Only they're born without a capacity to know that, or to understand that. When they find out that that's the fact, they get real mad.
The angels fell.
These replicants are a lot smarter and stronger than real humans. It's illegal for them to even be on this planet, let alone running around the city terrorizing innocent people.
You not come here.
International star Rutger Hauer plays Batty, the brilliant leader of the escaped replicants.
They're sort of, and they're looking for something. I think they're looking for their roots, which they don't have, and that they feel they don't have that much time.
Morphology, longevity, incept dates.
Don't know. I don't know such stuff. I just do eyes. Just eyes. Genetic design. Just eyes. You Nexus, huh? I design your eyes.
Chew. If only you could see what I've seen with your eyes.
They want more time. And my job is to find them and eliminate their threat.
The director is Ridley Scott, who gained prominence with his film Alien. Blade Runner, inspired by a classic Philip K. Dick novel, is a new challenge for Scott, in which he creates a unique vision of a possible future society, its technology, its people, and those who control them.
A Blade Runner is a kind of slang terminology for a bounty hunter, or an official exterminator, bureaucratic exterminator. And along his path of hunting replicants who happen to find their way into the city where they have no right to be, because the replicants are originally developed for off-world situations, both military, industrial, mining. They're kind of second-class generation developed for inhospitable environments, dangerous work, boring work, there will come a point maybe where if you're going to send an astronaut off into deep space where he'll never come back, and he knows he'll never come back, you may want to send a replicant instead.
Detective work hasn't changed much. You get too close to the truth and someone tries to change your mind. All it takes are guts, instinct, and intelligence. It's called trial and error. Mostly error.
Painful living fear, isn't it? Nothing is worse than having an itch you can never scratch.
Oh, I agree.
Wake up. Time to die.
Life's not all bad, though, if you've got a few of the modern conveniences. Like a spinner, one of the flying cars used by the police to patrol the city. A two-way video telephone.
I've had people walk out on me before, but not when I was being so charming. And why don't you come on down here and have a drink?
Or a detective's best friend, his Esper, a home computer that can search a room by scanning a photograph.
Enhance 34 to 46. Track 45 left. Stop. Give me a hard copy right there.
Like all detectives from Holmes to Marlowe, Deckard has to be able to adopt a quick personality change to handle new situations.
Excuse me, Miss Salome, can I talk to you for a minute? I'm from the American Federation of Variety Artists.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not here to make you join. No, ma'am. That's not my department. Actually, I'm from the Confidential Committee on Moral Abuses.
But on the street, there's no time to think twice. A Blade Runner has to smell trouble and act fast if he wants to stay alive.
One of the things about Deckard is that he's fighting a fear. It's not something he likes to do, to shoot people. It doesn't seem very easy with authority. And besides which, he seems to be on the losing end of almost every encounter. So he's reluctant, at best, to be doing what he's doing. But he does it pretty well.
Christ, Deckard, you look almost as bad as that skin job you left on the sidewalk.
I'm going home.
Could learn from this guy, Gav. He's a goddamn one-man slaughterhouse. That's what he is. 4 more to go. Come on, Gav, let's go.
3. There's 3 to go.
There's 4.
Blade Runner is very simply a thriller has to be set in slightly future terms, 40 years' time, 40 or 50 years' time, really for the nature, the credibility of the plot. We chose to make the texture of the theme and the story, because it had to be set in the future, to try and make it as familiar as possible. We tried to make the character in a kind of Philip Marlowe environment. So whilst we're looking 40 years in the future, it's very familiar in many respects and almost seems like 40 years ago. People's usually attempt to do future by presenting a rather bleak, austere, clean, pristine look, you know? And it could go that way, but I've got a feeling it's going to go the other way. I mean, if you think of New York City right now, how impossible it is now to actually maintain some of these buildings, how expensive it's going to be to take down the Empire State Building, right? I mean, that's going to cost as much as building it. So I think with a little slip sideways, you could, say, take a city like Chicago, and especially New York, where you could just get total oversaturation. So where eventually you just retro things on the face of the building rather than having to pull half the side off to rehouse air conditioning or rewire it or something like that. Because costs will get so high, it's going to be simpler just to smack it on the outside. So maybe buildings will start to be designed from the inside out, you know, where all the engineering goes on the outside rather than from the inside, where it seems to be expensive.
But while the inner city decays, the suburbs have grown into sprawling industrial landscapes. Deckard's first lead takes him to the headquarters of the world's largest replicant manufacturer, the Tyrell Corporation. In Tyrell's office at the top of a 400-story pyramid, Deckard first encounters the girl. You know, the beautiful, mysterious type who will always turn up in stories like this. Newcomer Sean Young plays Rachel.
I'm Rachel.
Deckard.
It seems you feel our work is not a benefit to the public.
Replicants are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem. At one point, Deckard is introduced to Rachel, whom he expects to be a human being. And at a certain point, he finds out that she's not. Not too big a shock for him. The shock for him is that with no place else to turn, she turns to him. And suddenly he's confronted with a woman in his life.
The person gave it to me to the police.
You've got a little boy. He shows you his butterfly collection, plus the killing jar.
I take him to the doctor.
How many questions does it usually take to spot one?
I don't get it, Tyrell.
How many questions?
20, 30 cross-referenced.
It took more than 100 for Rachel, didn't it?
She doesn't know.
She's beginning to suspect, I think.
Suspect? How can it not know what it is?
Commerce is our goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto. Rachel is an experiment, nothing more.
She knows how to handle this corporation that she works in, but when she gets in a situation, which she eventually does, where she has to relate to somebody physically, sexually, emotionally, she is as close to a virgin as anyone could be, because she's never had the experiences, regardless of how much of a woman she may look like. So she is in this situation with Deckard where he tries to kiss her and she runs away, and Deckard stops her and is not exactly violent with her, but he realizes somewhere that this must come to pass, that they love one another, and she learns what emotions are because of the pain of the situation and the pain of having to feel something for the first time.
Sooner or later, it all boils down to the final struggle between the cop and his quarry. In Blade Runner, the confrontation scene between Deckard and Batty is a terrifying chase through decaying buildings and across rooftops hundreds of stories above the ground. The climax builds to a savage fight between Deckard and the super-powerful replicant.
6, 7. Go to hell or go to heaven.
In 2019, man created man in his own image, a manufactured human. Hardware with soft flesh, programmed intelligence, frightening strength. The greatest invention has become the greatest threat.